name's Haley Goulet. I am the livestock manager here and partly our maple organizer now. I've been here, this is my 4th season now, and I love being here and working on the farm.
Sweet. I'm Madison Latiolais. I am the flower manager here at Native Community Organic Farm. I started here in November of this past year, and I'm really happy to be here. It was my interview day, and it was really fantastic. It was cold, and it was rainy, and I came in and had a big group interview, and it was like the first sight of the community that we have here at the farm. It was like I sat around a table, and all of the lovely ladies and Casey interviewed me and asked me really important questions. And that was really exciting, and it was just a show of how great it could be to work here, and then I got the job, so I fell in love with it.
Yeah, my first day here, actually, I had interviewed for a position here, and it had gone really well, and I was just really excited on the phone. So I called up my friend and I said, we have to go. I need to manifest getting this job. These people seem really great. So we came here, and I remember we parked in the parking lot, and the first thing I saw was a great blue heron out in the field catching a mouse. And I was like, that is so cool. And then we walked around the farm and we saw all the animals, and it just felt so good coming here. I was like, we have to manifest this. And then a couple of days later, I came back for my in-person interview, and I never left.
You manifested that.
A big reason why I love farming so much is that typical days don't exist. So here we could be doing anything. We could be mixing compost one day, we could be building fences another day, building a house for some sort of creature, vaccinating animals, birthing animals, tapping maple trees, anything. There's so much to do. Helping out Madison in the field or Jen in the field, planting, harvesting, weeding. The beauty of this place is that there is no normal day.
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing and add the flower side of like come in here in the morning and I check on all of my baby seedlings and maybe add more seedlings and seed and harvest and all that good stuff. And now that it's springtime, we're getting into summertime, it's a lot more bouquet making, cutting flowers, harvesting. But I also like to take little breaks and go check on the animals and say hello, especially the sheep. My favorite part is the stream that runs through the farm when you first drive in. I think I've always really loved running water, and so when I drove up here the first time, I literally audibly said, oh, "There's a stream!" And it's really great seeing all the little ducks first thing in the morning, and when it was snowy and icy, it's beautiful. So I think all of the water features here are my favorite. They're the most relaxing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably our pastures are my favorite place. Just walking around with all the beautiful tall grass in the middle of the summer, watching the sheep enjoy themselves out there, or the chickens, or whoever's out there that day. That's probably my favorite place. So what has changed on the farm since I've started is a lot and also not a lot. I think that since I've started, we've really come together as like a much more cohesive team in the time since I've started, and we're able to do a lot more long-term planning at Native Community, which is really awesome to sort of look forward to and have like a put together plan for all the different facets of the farm that happen here, because there's so much going on at any given moment. It's sometimes really hard to coordinate. But at the same time, the basics don't change, which I think is what is really special about this place in a lot of ways. The team is always stellar, always supportive. The visitors are always so happy to be here. The rare occasion that somebody is having a problem when they're here, it's always addressed really quickly and with a lot of kindness and respect. Um, so a lot, and also nothing has changed.
I think the education aspect and just the ability for community members, no matter where they live or how far away from the actual farm they live, they have access to agriculture here and seeing the entire process. And especially the meat aspect, I find is really, really important because you're able to understand better what it takes to get food, whether that's meat or veg or even a flower bouquet. You realize how much work goes into it and how much time and planning goes into it, and we get to see the full process here, and that's really uncommon for the everyday person or child. And so kids get to come out here and just be kids and be really curious, and I think that that's really special here, and especially for like the surrounding communities. We're very metro,
Yeah.
I think would be the word, area.
Yeah, adding to that a little bit,
Mhm.
I totally agree. I think that's one of the best parts, and the most sort of important thing we can offer to our community here. And my angle is a lot coming at it from the meat side of that idea. Um, Making sure, especially the kids involved in our programs, are still connecting to the animals. Like, we name them, we love them, we care for them so well, and we want them to be invested in the individual animals and understand that they are still like a living being to be respected, and they're going to become food for humans, and how that all happens, and that they still deserve all the love and respect up until that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think most things you can learn here that you can't learn anywhere else. I would say. I think the value in the education aspect of being connected to nature and teaching kids that, for example, I had some kids harvesting tulips with me, and the concept of species blindness for me came up when the kids started asking, "Are these both tulips? But why is this one yellow and why is this one red? Why is this one bigger and this one smaller?" That's a perfect teaching moment for them to realize this happens with flowers and literally everything else on the planet. So, like, this is a rabbit, that's a rabbit, or this is a deer, that's a deer, those sorts of things. So that's just like one example of those small little life, but also science and environmental aspects, and teaching empathy in a different way than kids get in school. So, like Haley was saying with the meat process, like you are learning how much energy and time and love and care went into something, and cherishing the things around you and the environment around you. I think that's one of the most valuable things that we get here. So.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add to that is I think that Native community does a really good job of letting people make mistakes while they're here, and like learning how to make mistakes and then fix them, without it being stressful. Because out in the world, mistakes are always going to happen, and there are some environments that it doesn't feel okay to do that. And we make mistakes all the time, and we let our kids make mistakes, and then we fix it with them. I think that would be the only thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I just feel lighter and happier. And like, this is more of my space than any other workplace I've ever been in. And like Haley was saying, making mistakes and taking them with grace and learning from them, and just learning to cope with mistakes and sit with them and say, okay, but now I'm action time. Like, I'm going to correct those, or I'm going to learn. That's done wonders. Being a farmer, things die, things don't get weeded, and weeds take over. Whatever. There's a zillion different scenarios that could happen. And so, just being here, getting to be outside, getting to be with animals has done wonders for me. And also getting to interact with the educational programs and the kids. makes me so happy when it's a long day. I'm exhausted from doing bed prep all morning or something. And that in the afternoon, the kids just come in with so much excitement. And that just lifts me up. And I just get to be silly with them and encourage them to be curious. So that feeds me. I feel fed here. Thank you, Bubby, too, for feeding us.
Yeah. A fed soul is a good way to sort of summarize the feeling of being here. Yeah, I think the other big impact that this place has had on me as sort of like one of the managers on the farming side of things is being able to talk to the public and have a lot of different kinds of connections with a lot of different kinds of people about food and where their food is coming from and how to get it and why the eggs aren't always in the fridge, like supply versus demand, not pushing ourselves or the land to past its capacity. Like, there's just so many moments of teaching that I'm always learning from, even as I'm talking to other people about it. Like, I'll start telling somebody something, and then halfway through it, I'll be like, actually, this is a better way to phrase this. Hold on a minute. So just all of those little moments of teaching and learning and all of it happening at the same time is probably what's made the biggest impact on me. This was a very short one, but we shear once a year, and it's kind of like it's an involved process. The sheep is upside down right in my lap. We're shearing them. So many kids are coming watching it, and they get a view of the underside of the sheep that they don't normally get during it. And this year it was very funny. I was shearing our ram Sam, and one of the kids in the group goes, "Is that his baby?" And we all just had to hold ourselves back a little because he was pointing right at his testicles, and it was like, well, it's halfway to a baby, sort of.
Not quite.
But it was a good education moment, and we got into anatomy a little bit because of it.
That's awesome.
The one thing that I would add that we do all the time here really well is teamwork. Like this week, for example, I think it was Wednesday, we have like a huge group of volunteers that come, which is so exceptional and is in teamwork all in itself. This big group cleaning out 2 of our animal houses. And then me and Madison worked together the entire morning as well, flip-flopping between our 2 areas to make sure that the jobs we had to get done got done in the easiest way for each individual person to like manage themselves, their bodies, and take care of themselves. And we do that all of the time. And there's never any like resentment or holding back or like, oh, I helped you this week, so I can't help you again later this week. It is just like very
we flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we flow. We communicate with one another. Yeah. I feel like especially like Haley, Jen, and I are really good, and Casey as well, but you know, veg manager Jen.
Yeah.
And we always really get to work together with things and try to make sure that we address all of our needs and lend support when we need to.
And care for each other.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Making sure, hey, are you good? Do you need anything from us today?
My hope for the next 50 years for the farm is that it doesn't change much. Like, the world changes so fast right now, and somehow this has maintained like a little pocket of just like a little magical pocket, it feels like. And I hope that that can continue, and I hope that we can engage more of the people who come visit on a daily basis a little bit better too.
Yeah. I think in the next 50 years, I hope we are able to expand our abilities on this property specifically. So trying to stay grounded in the original mission of educating people where their food comes from. I think in the same way that Haley's saying she hopes to stay the same, I 100% agree. And it's like, I hope that we are able to have more educational spaces and have more kids here. And we're able to grow more crops or more variety, and just keep doing the same mission and just keep improving it every year, which I feel like we're doing every day. Me and Haley and Jen will be sitting there, we're like, hey, we should do this differently and do it this way. And it just feels like a step in that direction, but staying on mission with educating people and getting people engaged with all the tasks and stuff.